Hello, this small video describes my first steps with MLflow. So MLflow is great for tracking your experiments, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So I created a small um, Jupyter notebook. Here we are seeing actually Jupyter Labs, and basically I'm interacting in this notebook with MLflow. So what we are doing here, we are just training two models, one decision tree model and a k nearest neighbors classifier, and we are just trying to predict some cardiac arrest risk. So the data that I'm using here is just data from machine hack from a hackathon. So the data is extremely simple. So I actually chose a very small data set because I really wanted this to run fast. So just let's look at this Jupyter notebook. So we have here the usual imports. So we are import some scikit-learn libraries, and we are importing actually the MLflow library. So I have installed on this machine, I have installed already MLflow. MLflow is very easy to install. You just need to use pip to install it. And the server is actually already running on my development server. Okay, so here what am I doing? I'm just reading some data from a CSV file. So the training data is now being read. So now I have a pandas data frame. So here we just are labeling the target variable, and this is basically a very simple set of data. Very simple pandas data frame you can see here. So basically this is our uh, target variable. Okay, so before you actually can start using MLflow, you need to create a connection to the server. So that's exactly what we are doing now. Um, we are setting a couple of parameters, and we're also setting an experiment. So the experiment has already been created in previous runs of the notebook. So, but still, the experiment you'll see in the MLflow UI later on. It's like a kind of a container for the activities in a specific experiment. Anyway, here we have a couple of functions. These are like kind of standard functions. One is just provides standard evaluation metrics like root, mean squared error, mean absolute error, and R2. I think it's residual score. Yeah. Then here have another function just to train test split the data, basically to split the data between train and validation sets. And now I have here a larger block where the actual training, the actual fit operation actually happens. Yeah. And also the models are instantiated. So you can actually see here that we instantiate the decision tree classifier, and we do a fit, and then we do a predict. And then what happens here is actually the most interesting thing regarding MLflow. We are logging the parameters to MLflow, and we are also logging the metrics. So what the MLflow actually does, MLflow is a server that receives this data and creates a kind of a log of your experiment that you can later on analyze. So that's exactly what we are doing here. So here we are actually fitting the data, we're creating a prediction, and then we are, like I said, we are writing to the MLflow server the parameters, the metrics, and we are also trying to log the artifacts. Now this is not working 100% because I think the setup of the server is not correct. But okay, I do the same thing with the KNN model, yeah. And then that's really it. Then I have a train function that actually connects also, basically starts a session with MLflow, and then calls the functions that you saw here. Yeah. So that's really what this function does. Yeah. So okay, so let's see how this works. I didn't execute this cell. Okay, now I'm executing this cell. So the training cell is now executed, and now I'm going to run this multiple times, basically to perform a training run with different parameters. So this is the first one, second one. So it's very fast because it's a very tiny data set. Yeah. Okay. So now we have actually trained the model. No, actually two models every time. So one decision tree and one KNN model. And um, the parameters and the metric results are now saved in MLflow. MLflow provides a very simple but very clean UI that lets you actually see the experiments here on the left side. So the experiment is the one that I created was cardiac, and here you can actually see the results of the experiment. So what do you see here? You see here the metrics, and you see here the parameters. You don't see all the parameters. There was one more parameter which is not here, and actually you can see this is root mean squared error. So you can actually see that I think this is the KNN version actually has a better result in terms of metrics. Yeah. So let's see what this is. Okay, so here you can see the result of this execution. I used as parameters the leaf size 30 and nearest neighbors 5, and this is a KNN run, and then I can see the metrics. So yes, you can see that MLflow can log all your training results, and this is extremely important because if you are really on machine learning projects, you end up doing this very often manually. So, and this basically gives you a framework and gives you a really nice tool to track the results of your experiments. Thank you very much.